What if the opportunity you've been waiting for will never come unless you create it? That thought can hit hard. Because deep down, we all hope for something to happen. We wait. We wish. We tell ourselves that when the right moment shows up, we'll be ready. But what if that perfect moment isn't coming? What if success isn't about waiting at all, but about building the door when none exists? Right now, you might feel stuck. Maybe life has handed you setbacks. You've applied for jobs and heard nothing. You've tried starting something only to face rejection. Maybe people have told you that you're not ready, not good enough, or not the right fit. It's exhausting, isn't it? And slowly it becomes tempting to believe them, to shrink your vision, to lower your voice, to give up. But before you do, stop. There's something important you need to know. The world is not always fair, but it is full of cracks. And in those cracks lie openings. Small, hidden, unpromised, but real. Openings that belong to those who dare to act. You don't need permission to chase your dream. You don't need someone else to say yes to begin. The truth is, the power to change your life isn't in someone else's hands. It's in yours. When no one gives you a shot, you take a step. When no one sees your worth, you build something that proves it. The most powerful people in the world aren't the ones who were chosen. They're the ones who chose themselves. And here's what they know. No opportunity is ever truly a given. It's discovered. It's created. It's built in silence, with courage, consistency, and grit. The person who waits is at the mercy of those who move. But the person who moves, even with fear, even with doubt, becomes unstoppable. Not because they had more talent, but because they decided to start. And that decision is worth more than any degree, any title, any approval. That decision changes everything. If you've ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or invisible, this message is for you. You were not born to blend in. You were not meant to settle. And no matter where you started, you have something powerful inside of you, the ability to create your own way forward. So stay with this. Let this message light a fire in you, because if you keep watching, if you stay all the way through, you'll discover what it really means to take control of your life. Not someday, not when you feel ready, but now, because the world doesn't need more people waiting. It needs people who are ready to build. Your moment isn't coming. You are the moment. You don't need to have it all figured out to begin. You just need to decide that where you are is not where you're going to stay. The most dangerous lie we ever believe is that we need to be ready before we move, that we need more time, more certainty, more validation. But what if that's the trap? What if the very thing holding you back isn't the world or your circumstances or even your lack of resources, but the belief that you're not enough yet? That voice in your head that whispers, "You can't do this," is not telling the truth. It's echoing every doubt you've ever been fed. And it's time to stop listening. You were born with the ability to create, to shape thoughts into action, to turn invisible ideas into something real. That's power. Not the kind that comes with titles or status, but the kind that changes lives. Akabi. Yours first, and then others. You don't need a roadmap. You need a reason. And you already have one. Look at your life. Look at what you've been through. The pain, the waiting, the disappointments. Every single moment was building something inside you. Not weakness, not failure, but fuel. You haven't been stuck, you've been storing strength. Every time you doubted yourself and kept going anyway, you were building resilience. Every time you failed and got up, you were training for what's coming. So don't ask if you're ready. Ask if you're willing. Willing to trust yourself even when no one else does. Willing to start before you're comfortable. Willing to step forward into fear, not because you're fearless, but because your dream matters more than your fear. There's something powerful about a person who refuses to wait for life to change, who looks around and says, "If I can't find a way, I'll make one." That energy, it's rare. But it's yours if you want it, and it doesn't require perfection. It requires a decision, a line in the sand, a moment where you stop apologizing for wanting more and start building it, one small step at a time. Opportunity isn't found. It's formed by people who are bold enough to begin without guarantees. That's what makes the journey worth it. Not because it's easy, but because you chose it. You built it. And no one can take that from you. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because today, you're not just hearing a message, you're becoming it. You're realizing that everything you've been looking for out there has always been inside you, buried beneath fear, doubt, and hesitation. But now it's breaking through. Don't turn away. Don't let this moment pass. The life you want is waiting to be created, not found, not handed over, created. And the creator, that's you, always has been. There's a quiet moment that happens before everything changes. It's a shift deep within, a decision so small it almost goes unnoticed. But that decision is everything. It's the moment you stop waiting for something to happen and decide to become the one who makes it happen. That's the spark. And once it lights, nothing stays the same. Most people never reach that moment. Not because they're incapable, but because they let fear speak louder than purpose. They listen to the doubt. They believe the lie that where they are is all they'll ever be. But that's not your truth. Because if you've made it this far, something inside you is already awake. You're not here by accident. You're here because a part of you knows you're meant for more, and you're done pretending otherwise. You don't have to fight for a place at someone else's table. You can build your own. You don't have to wait for someone to say go. You are the green light. The longer you wait, the heavier the fear becomes. It grows roots. It convinces you that risk is danger. But here's the truth. There's nothing more dangerous than doing nothing. Dreams don't disappear. They decay. Wait. And that slow death of what could have been, that's what regret looks like. But you're not going to live with that, because the life you want won't be found in comfort. It will be forged in motion, in trying, in failing, in getting up again and again until the world has no choice but to make space for what you've built. Not because it was easy, but because you refuse to quit. This isn't about motivation. This is about identity. Who are you when everything is uncertain? Who are you when nothing is promised? That answer, that raw truth, that's the foundation of everything you will create. And when you meet that version of yourself, the one who chooses courage over comfort, you'll never want to go back. Because once you realize you can create your own momentum, your own doors, your own future, no rejection can stop you. No failure can break you. You become something the world can't ignore. Undeniable. You are not powerless. You are not too late. You are not behind. The world will tell you to wait, that you're too much, or not enough. But the truth is, the moment you choose to start, you take back control. You take back your voice. And most of all, you take back your future. So take that step, even if it's small, even if it's shaky. Because progress isn't made in leaps, it's made in decisions. Quiet, defiant, repeated decisions. And today you decide not to wait for permission. You decide to act, to build, to rise. This is where everything begins, not outside you, but within you. It always was. The moment you stop outsourcing your power is the moment everything changes. Because as long as you keep waiting for someone to open the door, you're giving away control. You're handing your future to people who were never meant to shape it. And that's not how your story is meant to unfold. You weren't built to follow a path. You were built to carve one. The truth is, most people give up not because they fail, but because they never fully start. They dip a toe in, they test the waters, but they never commit. And without commitment, there is no breakthrough, no traction, no transformation. But once you commit, fully, deeply, without conditions, something shifts. Life starts to respond to your energy. Not overnight, not without struggle, but with time and consistency and a fire that refuses to die out. You begin to shape the world around you. You don't need a perfect plan. You need relentless action. Action builds clarity. Action builds strength. Action builds you. And the more you move, the more you grow into the person who can handle what you once only dreamed of. That's the key. You don't wait until you feel confident. You act until confidence becomes natural. Natural. Until belief replaces doubt. Until the idea of playing small feels impossible. Fear will still whisper. Doubt will still knock. But they lose their grip the moment you stop standing still. Because progress creates proof. Every step you take says, I am not who I used to be. And eventually, that truth becomes louder than your excuses, louder than your fear, louder than the noise around you. You have to be willing to be seen trying. That's where most people stop. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to look foolish. But greatness doesn't grow in hiding. It grows in the raw, messy middle where most people quit, but not you. Because you understand now that creating your own opportunities means being uncomfortable. It means being misunderstood. It means stepping forward with no guarantee. Just the deep knowing that what you're building is worth it. And it is. It always has been. Because it's not just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. Every challenge you face is shaping you into someone stronger. Every obstacle you push through is carving out a level of grit and power that no one can take from you. So Stand up. Even if your legs shake, speak up. Even if your voice cracks, keep going, even when no one claps. Because this is your path, not handed to you, not designed for you, created by you. Every step forward is a declaration that you will not be defined by limits. You will not shrink for comfort. You will rise. You will lead. You will create something that didn't exist because you had the courage to believe it could. And now it will. When you realize that no one is coming to save you, you stop waiting and start rising. You stop hoping that someone else will recognize your potential. And you begin to live like it's already real. Because it is. Potential means nothing without action. Dreams remain dreams until you breathe life in. And the only way to do that is to move. Without knowing what's next, without needing anyone's permission. The world doesn't owe you understanding. It doesn't owe you fairness. It doesn't owe you a clear path. But it will respond to your persistence. It will move for the person who refuses to be ignored. Not because the road is easy, but because your will is stronger than your fear. That kind of strength isn't found. It's built. And it's built in the moments where most people would give up. You already know how to survive. Now it's time to learn how to build. You're not fragile. You've already lived through moments that tried to break you. You've already stood in the silence after disappointment and found a way to keep going. That strength wasn't an accident. It was preparation. Proof that even when everything is against you, there's something inside you that doesn't quit. That part of you is your foundation. And now, it's time to rise from it. Don't let comfort become your cage. Don't let fear disguise itself as logic. Playing it safe is the slowest form of giving up. You weren't made to live half a life, constantly wondering what could have been. You were made to push limits, to step into resistance and keep walking, to carry the weight of uncertainty and still move with purpose. Progress doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's lonely, but it's always worth it. Because with every struggle you face, you're becoming stronger, more focused, more prepared. And with each step, you're proving that your future is being shaped, not by circumstances, but by decisions. Every day, you choose who you're becoming. Every moment, you decide whether to build or retreat. And right now, you're choosing to rise. That decision alone changes everything. Not because it solves the challenge, but because it declares war on the excuses. It silences the voice that says it may be later, and replaces it with a why not now. This is the power you've always had. The ability to move without a map, to believe without proof, to act without applause. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing. Willing to try, willing to fall, willing to get up again and again until the world makes room for your vision. That's how opportunity is created. Not from luck, from movement, from action, from refusing to wait. And you, right now, are in motion. Don't slow down. Don't turn back, because what you're building is bigger than a goal. You're building a life that no one gave you, but you chose anyway. That's power, and it's already yours. Every step you take without certainty builds a kind of confidence that certainty never could. Because when you move without guarantees, you stop needing them. You stop needing permission, applause, or proof. You begin to realize that growth was never about knowing the outcome. It was about becoming the kind of person who moves anyway. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not your situation, not your resources, your refusal to stay still. You don't need the perfect background, the right connections, or a flawless plan. You need a decision. A clear, non-negotiable commitment that says, I will not live on pause. Because the longer you hesitate, the louder doubt becomes. And doubt only grows in silence. You break it by moving. You silence it by building. Action is your weapon. Consistency is your power. And belief is the fuel that will carry you through everything that tells you to stop. There will be moments when the results don't show, when the effort feels invisible, when the work seems to echo into nothing. But those are the moments that matter most. Not because they're easy, but because they're shaping who you become when things get hard. Anyone can show up when it's working. But when you show up even when it isn't, you create something no one can take from you. Resilience that's earned, not given. This is what building opportunity looks like. It's not glamorous. It's not always inspiring. Sometimes it's quiet, uncomfortable, and thankless. But every effort counts. Every late night, every early morning, every quiet decision to keep going when no one sees you, that's the work. And eventually, it speaks louder than any rejection ever could. You don't need the world to believe in you. You need to believe in you. And that belief isn't built by waiting. It's built by proving to yourself every single day that you are willing to do the hard things, to show up when it hurts, to stay focused when it's slow, to rise above the doubt, not because it's gone, but because it no longer controls you. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not late. You are in the exact moment you need to be to make the decision that will change your life. You are standing on the edge of everything you've ever wanted, and the only thing separating you from it is a choice, not a chance, not a miracle, a choice to create what you've been searching for. So choose it, fully, not halfway, not when it's easy. Right now. Because once you decide that you will create your path, nothing can stop you. Delay can't stop you. Fear can't stop you. Fear can't stop you. Failure becomes part of the process, not the end of it. This is how the impossible becomes real. Not all at once, but moment by moment. Built by a person who chose not to wait. A person who chose to create. A person who chose to become. That person is you. There is a version of you that already exists beyond the fear, beyond the hesitation, beyond every reason you've ever had to play small. That version of you is not waiting to be found. It's waiting to be built. And every choice you make today is either bringing you closer or pulling you further away. This is not about chasing some distant dream. This is about becoming someone who no longer needs to chase, because you've become the kind of person who attracts what once felt out of reach. You are not here to be ordinary. You are not here to follow the script, fit the mold, or walk the same path everyone else settled for. You're here to break patterns, to shift direction, to do something different, not because it's easy, but because you can't live with the idea of staying the same. Deep down, you know you were made for more. That voice inside you isn't noise, it's truth. And the longer you ignore it, the louder the discomfort will grow. You don't need to see the finish line to take the first step. You just need to trust that what's ahead is better than what's behind. Let go of the idea that you must have it all figured out. No one does. Clarity isn't given, it's earned through action. The more you move, the more you learn. The more you try, the more you grow. Growth is not always obvious, but it is always happening when you stay in motion. Stop asking for guarantees. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. The people who build legacies don't wait for doors to open. They make doors. They create value. They take risks that others are too afraid to touch. And in doing so, they rise. Not because they were chosen, but because they chose themselves. That is your power. And it has always been there, waiting for your permission to wake up. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your signal. If it feels unfamiliar, you're probably moving in the right direction. If it feels hard, you're probably on the edge of something real. Most people turn back at the first sign of struggle, but the ones who move through it, those are the ones who transform. Not just their lives, but the lives around them. Right now, your job is simple. Don't stop. Don't talk yourself out of your own future. Don't water down your dream to fit the size of someone else's comfort zone. You are not here to survive. You are here to build. You are here to create space where there was none, to start movements in silence, to do what most people only think about doing. And that starts with owning who you are and what you're here to do. This isn't a message. This is a wake-up call. You are not done. You are just beginning. And what you build from this moment on will become the evidence that you never needed a way in, because you became the way. Every day you hesitate is a day you hand your future to fear. Not because you want to, but because you've been trained to believe that playing it safe is smart. That keeping your head down will protect you. That waiting for the right time is responsible. But the right time never comes. Conditions will never be perfect. And comfort will always feel more attractive than courage. But comfort never leads to change. It only leads to regret. There's a silent cost to staying still. You don't notice it at first. It feels like rest, like waiting, like being cautious. But day by day, it drains your momentum. It kills your hunger. It convinces you to aim smaller, to dream less, to accept what doesn't inspire you. And over time, that quiet surrender becomes your normal. That's the danger, not the risk of action, but the decay that comes from inaction. If you've ever felt like something inside you is slowly dying, it's because your potential wasn't made to sit in silence. The world changes for those who move. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the most experienced. You just have to be the one who keeps showing up. No matter what, you learn as you go, you build as you grow. You adjust, improve, and evolve, but only if you start. You are not falling behind. You are standing on the edge of becoming everything they said you couldn't be. The only thing left is the choice. You're not just building a future. You're building self-trust. The ability to look in the mirror and know that you can rely on yourself to act, to decide, to follow through. That's what creates real confidence. Not likes, not approval, not applause, but your own consistency in the face of uncertainty. That is where real power begins. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. Not pain, not suffering, just discomfort. The uneasiness of doing what's unfamiliar. The stretch of stepping into the unknown. That's the real threshold. And most people never cross it. Not because they can't, but because they choose not to. But you're here because something in you refuses to settle. Because the thought of wasting your potential has finally become more painful than the thought of failing. That's where transformation starts. This is the line, right here, right now. And no one can cross it for you. But the moment you do, everything shifts. Not because the world changes, but because you do. You stop waiting for opportunities and begin creating them. You stop hoping for a break and start becoming the break. And every action you take after that becomes a statement. I will not live small. I will not die with my potential untouched. I will rise, I will build, and I will create the life I know I was born for, because it's mine. And I'm no longer asking. I'm claiming it. Starting now. The moment you decide to stop asking for permission is the moment your real life begins. Not the one others expect from you. Not the one fear tries to negotiate. The one that belongs fully to you, undiluted, unapproved, and unstoppable. Because power doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from choosing yourself again and again, especially when no one else does. Especially when the world doubts your voice, your vision, your value. You've already waited long enough for clarity, for confidence, for someone to notice your effort or hand you the next step. But none of that is required anymore. Because deep inside, you already know what to do. You've always known. And even if you can't see the whole road, you can see the first step. That's enough. All greatness starts from a single act of refusal. To stay small, to stay quiet, to stay afraid. Courage isn't loud. It's not a roar. It's a quiet choice that no one sees. The decision to try one more time. The push to show up, even when you'd rather hide. The strength to stand in your truth, even when your voice shakes. And you have that in you. And not because you feel fearless, but because something in you is stronger than fear. The part that wants more, the part that refuses to live on repeat. The part that knows you didn't come this far just to settle for survival. You have something to offer this world that no one else can. And if you don't give it, it never exists. That's what's at stake. Not just your success, but the value you bring into reality through your decision to act. Your ideas, your energy, your impact, that's what this is about. Not just a dream, a responsibility, a calling. Not from anyone else, but from within you. This is your time. Not because conditions are perfect, but because your desire has finally outgrown your doubt. And that hunger you feel, the frustration, the restlessness, the fire, it's not a sign that something's wrong. It's proof that something is waking up. Something that refuses to keep playing small in a world that desperately needs people who are fully alive. So let go of the need to be certain. Let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the pressure to fit in. You weren't made to fit. You were made to stand, to lead. To become a living example of what's possible when someone stops waiting and starts building. That is who you are now. Not someday, not eventually. Now, start where you are. Use what you have and move with everything inside you, because momentum doesn't wait, and neither should you. The life you want will not be handed to you. It will be forged day by day, step by step, decision by decision. And if you keep moving, if you keep choosing yourself, it won't be a matter of if. It will be a matter of when. There is a force inside you waiting to be unleashed. The force of relentless determination that turns obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into setups for something greater. This force doesn't come from luck or talent alone. It's forged through commitment. Through the decision to move forward, no matter what. Because the world rewards those who refuse to quit. Not with gifts, but with respect. Respect earned by the courage to persist when giving up would have been easier. You have everything you need to begin creating right now. Your doubts are not chains. They are the signals of growth stretching your limits. When discomfort rises, it means you're breaking free from old patterns that held you back. This is not pain to fear, but power to embrace. Power to change the story you tell yourself about what is possible. Power to rewrite your future on your own terms. Every moment you invest in yourself is a seed planted in the soil of your potential. It might seem small, insignificant, even invisible at times, but growth happens beneath the surface first. Roots deepen in the dark before a tree bursts through the ground. Your efforts today are the roots anchoring you for the storms and sunlight ahead. Keep watering those roots with consistency, belief, and relentless action. The difference between those who create opportunities and those who wait for them is simple. One says, I will make this work. The other says, I hope this works. Which voice do you listen to? Your inner dialogue shapes your reality. When you speak to yourself with confidence and certainty, your brain begins to rewire for success. When you embrace possibility instead of fear, you build resilience. Resilience is the bridge between where you are and where you want to go. There's no magic formula to success, no secret waiting for you to discover it. The secret is in your daily choices to show up, learn, and keep moving forward. Every effort compounds. Every failure teaches. Every no brings you closer to the yes. This is how opportunity is created, through relentless pursuit, not perfect conditions. You were not meant to watch life pass you by. You were made to be a creator, a doer, a breaker of limits. The life you imagine is not a distant dream. It's a reality that starts with one brave step outside your comfort zone. And that step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be taken. Now is the moment to stop waiting for the right mood, the right timing, the right sign. The universe responds to those who act with intention and urgency. If you want something, go after it fiercely. Build it patiently. Shape it intentionally, because time is the one resource you can never reclaim. Use it wisely by investing in yourself and your vision. Believe this deeply. Your power to create your future is already within you. It has been all along. The only thing left to do is to activate it, to move beyond fear and doubt, to build your path, one step at a time, with relentless faith in your own ability to rise. This is your journey, your opportunity, your time. Take it. What if everything you think you need is already inside you, waiting for the moment you stop doubting and start trusting? The truth is, the barriers you see are often the ones you place yourself. Your mind has been trained to look for reasons to hesitate, to question, to delay. But what if you could retrain it to see possibility instead, to see opportunity where others see risk? That shift is not magic. It is a choice you make every day, every minute, every second. Choosing to believe that you are capable is the first and most powerful act of creation. You don't have to wait for confidence to feel ready. Confidence comes from action, not the other way around. The simple act of deciding to begin, even when fear is loudest, sends a signal to your brain that you are in control. This rewires your thoughts, strengthens your courage, and builds momentum. Momentum, once started is your greatest ally. It carries you through the hard days when doubt tries to creep back in. Momentum transforms small steps into giant leaps over time. It is the invisible force that turns impossible into inevitable. Look closely at the people you admire, the ones who seem to have it all together. None of them started perfect. None of them had everything figured out. What sets them apart is their refusal to stay stuck, their willingness to face uncertainty and keep going. This is your superpower, too. The ability to persist in the face of fear, to build when no one is watching, to believe when no one else does. Your dreams are worth this kind of relentless dedication. You may feel overwhelmed by the size of your goals, but the truth is, every mountain is climbed one step at a time. Break down your vision into small, actionable pieces. Focus on what you can do today, not what you hope to do someday. This focus reduces fear because it grounds you in the present moment. It creates clarity where there was confusion. Clarity breeds confidence, and confidence breeds action. This cycle fuels progress in a way that hope alone never can. The resistance you feel is normal. It is the sign that you are stepping beyond old limits and into growth. Instead of fearing resistance, learn to lean into it. Understand that discomfort is not a wall, but a doorway. Behind it lies your next level. To refine your skills, to deepen your belief in yourself. You were not designed to live in the shadows of what ifs and maybes. You were made to shine, to innovate, to lead your own life with courage and purpose. And it starts with one truth. Your future is created by the choices you make right now. No more waiting, no more hesitation. Just action fueled by belief, persistence, and unwavering self-trust. You are not alone in this journey. The energy you put out will attract the people, resources, and opportunities aligned with your purpose. But first, you must step into your power. The power to create, the power to transform, the power to make your own path when none exists. Your time is now. Your choice is yours. Choose to rise, choose to build, choose to become unstoppable. What separates those who create their own opportunities from those who wait for them is the refusal to accept limitations, real or imagined, as permanent. Every barrier you face is a challenge to your mindset, a test of your willingness to push beyond what feels comfortable. When you choose to see obstacles not as dead ends, but as puzzles waiting to be solved, you unlock a mindset that fuels innovation, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. This is not about luck. It's about perspective, and perspective is a power you hold. You can change it with a decision. You've been conditioned to believe that success is about external factors, timing, connections, resources. The truth is, those things matter, but only after you decide to act. Action draws opportunity. Waiting invites doubt. When you take the initiative, you send a clear message to the world and to yourself that you are ready to claim what's yours. This act of claiming transforms your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a passive bystander and become an active creator. That shift is radical because it rewires your brain to seek solutions, to notice openings where others see walls. Imagine the power of knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you have the ability to respond with creativity and courage. This power isn't reserved for the few. It's available to anyone willing to take responsibility for their future. It starts with ownership. Ownership of your choices, your mindset, and your actions. When you stop blaming circumstances or waiting for external validation, you free yourself. You reclaim control over your destiny. Growth is not linear. It's messy, unpredictable, and often uncomfortable. But every step forward, no matter how small, compounds into progress that's impossible to ignore. The key is consistency, not perfection. Show up, do the work, learn, and keep moving. This daily commitment builds a foundation so strong that even setbacks become stepping stones. Remember, failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. When you embrace mistakes as feedback, you remove their power to stop you. You transform them into your greatest teachers. The energy you invest in doubt, hesitation, or self-criticism drains your potential. Redirect that energy into belief, action, and persistence. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Guard it carefully. Feed it thoughts that build you up instead of tearing you down. Surround yourself with ideas and influences that inspire courage, not the environment you create mentally and emotionally is the soil where your dreams will grow or wither. Now is the time to build your own ladder when no one else is handing you one. The path won't be clear. You will face uncertainty, risk, and moments of loneliness, but those moments are the proving grounds for your future. This is your invitation to stop waiting for chance and start making it. The power to transform your life is within you right now. Claim it. Act on it. Become unstoppable. You carry within you a wellspring of untapped potential, a power so profound that it can reshape your entire world. Yet this power remains dormant until awakened by your own determination to act. The difference between dreams left to fade and lives transformed lies entirely in the decision to move beyond hesitation and into deliberate, purposeful effort. When you make this choice, you ignite a force that propels you forward, regardless of external circumstances. This force is resilience, an inner fire that refuses to die out, no matter how fierce the storm. Fear will always try to hold you back. It will whisper doubts, conjure worst-case scenarios, and tempt you to settle for what feels safe. But fear is not your enemy. It is a signal that you are on the edge of growth. Learning to recognize fear without letting it control you is essential. It means acknowledging discomfort without allowing it to paralyze you. Every step you take through fear builds courage, and courage becomes your foundation for creating opportunities. Remember, true courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Your mind is a powerful architect designing the reality you live and based on the beliefs you hold. When you believe in scarcity, you limit your possibilities. When you embrace abundance, you open doors that were previously invisible. This shift is not wishful thinking. It is a neurological change that rewires your brain to seek opportunities and solutions instead of problems and limitations. By consistently choosing empowering beliefs, you create a mental environment where growth and success can flourish. The act of creation demands more than vision. It demands persistent action. Waiting for perfect conditions is a trap that steals time and energy. No one waits for perfect conditions. They create under pressure, adapt in chaos, and grow through setback. The truth is, the only moment guaranteed to you is now. Every small step you take builds momentum, breaking the inertia that keeps you stuck. Momentum transforms small efforts into unstoppable progress. It turns dreams into realities. Ownership is your most powerful tool. Owning your choices means accepting full responsibility for where you are and where you are going. It means no longer blaming circumstances, other people, or fate for your current position. Ownership frees you from victimhood and puts you firmly in the driver's seat of your life. When you own your path, you become unstoppable. Obstacles become challenges to solve, not reasons to quit. Understand that the journey is as important as the destination. The discomfort, uncertainty, and hard work are the crucibles that forge your character and resilience. These experiences build the strength necessary to sustain long-term success and fulfillment. Embrace the process. Trust that every struggle is a step forward. Every effort, no matter how small, compounds into transformation. Your life is waiting for you to step up and claim it. No one else will do it for you. The power to create your future is in your hands. Choose now to activate that power, to act with courage, and to build relentlessly. When you do, you don't just create opportunities. You become the opportunity.